Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Friday 20th June 2025 and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. OECS leaders want more for OECS countries. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. OECS heads and officials meeting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to discuss legislative bills for the first time in the OECS Assembly found themselves constrained for time that stimulated discussion on the purpose of the Assembly in the context of the integration movement of the OECS, with a need expressed for the OECS Assembly to have a higher role in the sub-region. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline reports.
Various government and opposition leaders spoke on the related issues for some time, voicing the general opinion that the Assembly must be capable of doing more. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Chu urged his colleagues to use the institution and the OECS mechanisms to secure further benefits for the sub-region. Here are some of the viewpoints expressed by the political leaders during the 17th June sitting of the OECS Assembly.
The revised Treaty of Bastille, as you know, was in 1981. My home country, I don't think I can remember it. I may have been too small to remember even that. But I would say when you look at it, the essence of it is really to bring us closer together as a region. And as I reflect, as a very new Prime Minister, on the essence of a bill like this, which is really to unify us, but that would redound to the benefit of all of us who are members of this great organization.
So we have to be prepared to move to the route of political union, which should now usher in a divestment of some of our constitutional authorities. I agree because, I don't believe in, Madam Speaker, in common debates and talk about things just for talking's sake. We have to act. When members of Parliament meet, it is not a tea party we have. We come here to discuss serious matters affecting the lives of our citizens. And at the end of the day, a decision is taken. And so for that to get to that point, we have to do what we have to do.
That we are going to have meaningful discussions. And after the discussions, and after we would have agreed on the policies, we need to see a process of implementation. We need to see more collaboration, more discussion, not only at this table, but it needs to continue. Because after we would have concluded our business here, that's it in terms of the discussion with the opposition. And
Madam Speaker, I think that we can do better. I think that these bills only tokenize what we're supposed to be doing. I think we need a much more deeper integration. The OECS has proven without a doubt that we're on the right track. CARICOM has not. Can we continue to respect our CARICOM colleagues?
The occasion was the 7th sitting of the OECS Assembly in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but the institution is headquartered in Antigua. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Antigua and Barbuda and fellow vulnerable OECS member states are being urged to let their voices be heard amid concerns over global trade tensions. ABS's Ursel Charles Jr. reports.
Higher tariffs and shifting trade tensions continue to dominate the news. And while leaders of some of the world's most powerful countries, the G7, were meeting, leaders of OECS countries were also putting their heads together. Their aim, to find ways to avert what could be crippling effects of the ongoing trade war and tariff implementation. Director General of the World Trade Organization, the WTO, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, joined the 7th OECS General Assembly meeting Tuesday to provide direction on how small and developing countries like ours could find solutions. She's encouraged territories to come together and speak up on the issues of trade policy on the most favored nation tariff terms.
Small island economies can be very vulnerable, and they need the stability and predictability of the system. So making your voices heard on the importance of that stability and predictability is very important. And that's one action you can take in banding with other members to make sure that your voices are heard on this issue.
In shaping how multilateral trade systems work, the Director General says OECS territories have as large a voice as any other WTO member country.
Even the way we make decisions, it gives every country that is a member a voice, even the smallest one. And I'm very proud of it, the consensus system, because it means small OECS states can have the same voice as the largest country.
Dr. Ngozi adds the strength of the services trade in the sub-region will mean countries are spared the worst of the contraction predicted in the trading of goods. She predicts growth in the services sector, with one segment of that market leading the way, hailing this as an area of comparative advantage for islands of the region.
But services trade, we were projecting that it would grow at about 5% when goods trade was contracted. Now, we're projecting at about slightly more than 4%. So this is the area where the growth is. But I also want to say that there is a part of services trade that is very important. It's growing the fastest. Digitally delivered services trade. All the trade done via computer networks and digital means is one of the fastest growing. It's worth $4.25 trillion now.
She also credits the capacity of the human resources in the sub-region as a start to this potentially new trade sector for the OECS. She confirms 87% of global trade is done outside U.S. involvement, and those countries should continue to trade among themselves. For ABS News, I'm Ursel Charles Jr.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
TVJ's Sandy Williams reports that police in Jamaica bust $1 million fraud scheme.
On the face of it, these look legitimate, but
what we're looking at are the sophisticated devices that this criminal syndicate are using to recreate tickets, using fake tickets, using them to defraud the poker box operators.
in fact, it's an ongoing issue in Western Jamaica. Operators of poker boxes have been losing millions to scammers.
These group of persons, how they operate, they'll come to your establishment, get a copy of your logo, they then go back, recreate your logo, and then create fake tickets. They then come to the establishment, posing as normal customers, and then they try and cash in these tickets.
On Tuesday, the police made a breakthrough.
Earlier today, the owner of an establishment in St. James, in the Barnett Street policing area, recognized that there was an issue with a poker box ticket that was being presented to be cashed. Upon further examination, he confirmed that there was something different about the ticket and requested the assistance of the police. The police, upon going there, held on to the men.
Upon searching the vehicle the men were traveling in, the police stumbled on the devices used to create the fraudulent tickets. Their investigation also revealed something bigger.
And I realized that this syndicate seemed to have originated outside of Montego Bay, but has been operating for some time, defrauding poker box operators and other business owners within across the country.
As the police continue to dig deeper, they've already surmised that this is a multi-million-dollar scheme and the criminals are all over the country.
If you look on the costing on some of these tickets, if you have tickets with $65,000 and you print 10 of those per day, that's $650,000. You can easily pull $2 million plus, in excess of $2 million dollars every day, by just not making even any great effort doing this scam.
To businesses,
we are encouraging persons who operate these establishments, pay keen attention to persons who enter and exit your establishments, ensure that you have proper camera set up so that you can pay attention to what is being done on the box. And also, if you are in doubt, contact the police. This is not limited to St. James, but right across the country.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
In the meantime, opposition leader of Jamaica, Mark Golding, says only a third term would be a prison term for some. Nika Lewis of CVM News explains.
Resolute Mark Golding told the young people of Westmoreland it's time to make the change from the JLP to the PNP for their own future. This, as he insists, the governing party is anticipating a reality where they'll secure a third term, but remarked to the counter.
This government hasn't built one critical institution in 10 years, much less one school. They don't understand development, and they don't deserve another term. And for some of them, I'm sure, the only third term will be a prison term.
The tempo rose continuously thereafter as he encouraged his youth voters not to fall prey to the tactics of those seeking to have them change course.
You're going to be facing all kind of tactics. They're going to try buy you out, or they're going to try and intimidate. But we are not for sale, comrades. And we are strong, and we are resolute, and we are determined to make this country better and to make life better for ourselves. And that's why I'm asking you, please, to make sure that you take the message out there in the highways and byways. Make sure that all who are in doubt understand why it's important to come and vote in this election and make their voice be heard through their ex.
And he would not rest until he had his fill of why the youngsters ought to stand firmly behind the PNP, despite some early polls showing the youth were leaning more to the JLP.
We have an election coming around the corner, and it's a very important election for Jamaica. You can either stay with what you've had for 10 years, the deception, the lies, the ripping off, the stagnant economy, the hopes that are being dashed, or you can move to a government that is going to put the people very much in the center of our thinking, and that is going to tackle the real issues facing the people and holding the people back, and it's going to take Jamaica to the next level, economically and socially. Remember the People's National Party's track record in building institutions to lift the people of Jamaica, from the National Housing Trust to the National Health Fund to the Drug for the Elderly program.
Nika Lewis, CVM News.
Guyana and Grenada tourism sectors to be further boosted through partnership with Inter-Caribbean Airways. Antonio Day of HGP Nightly News has that exciting story.
Inter-Caribbean Airways last year launched direct flights between Ghana and Grenada. However, according to Tonya Charles, director of the Grenada Tourism Authority, this initiative will be more detailed on Thursday at a promotion event scheduled for the Giftland Mall in Turkine.
Tomorrow will be at Giftland Mall from 1 p.m. It really is the place to be to find out all things, Grenada related, what you can do, where you can stay, how to get there. And you also have the opportunity to win a trip.
The first flight took to the skies in 2024, connecting Maurice Bishop International Airport in Grenada with the Cheddi Jagan International Airport in Georgetown, Guyana. According to Charles, who's also the Director of Sales and Marketing at Inter-Caribbean Airways, there will be personnel available to respond to questions from anyone interested in taking a Grenada tour. This new route will operate flights twice weekly. The airline's expansion into this market is expected to stimulate tourism, trade and cultural exchange between the two nations. Charles also revealed some unknown facts about the Caribbean territory to enthuse travelers.
Grenada is made up of 3 islands, and that's something that a lot of people don't know. So we're a tri-island state, so there's Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. So it is one of those places where you pay one airfare, but you get 3 different experiences.
It serves as an important link for business travelers, tourists, and those visiting friends and family, promoting the growth and development of both countries. The GTA director also championed the Spice Islands' cultural diversity and events with great tourist attractions.
Grenada Chocolate Festival. We traveled to Ghana sometime earlier in the year, and the chocolates went like hot bread and butter. So we're known for our chocolates because they're all organic, all dark chocolates.
I'm Antonio D reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.